Hey guys, it's Dr. Justin Marchegiani here. Today's video is going to be on adrenals and allergy connections. We're going to talk about how they're connected and how to get to the root cause of your allergy issues by supporting your adrenals. Before we dive in, please smash that like button. Really appreciate it. Feel free to share the video with family and friends. Put your comments down below. Let me know what you've done to kind of help support your adrenals and or allergies, help improve allergy symptoms. So out of the gates here, allergies, what are they? People know, right? Itchy eyes, runny nose, post-nasal drip, maybe cough, sneezing. So essentially, your allergies are typically driven by either an histamine response, histamine typically due to allergens in the environment. Your body, your immune system produces histamine as a result. And so it tends to be that your immune system is hypersensitive, over-secreting histamine, and thus you're having all of these allergy symptoms, cough, itchy eyes, runny nose, post-nasal drip, etc. Now, why is your immune system overreacting? That's a great question. I talked about this in other podcasts and videos on this topic. Imagine this metaphorical inflammation bucket, right? We can call it antigen bucket, histamine bucket, whatever you want to call it. It's our stress bucket. All of these different stressors go in that bucket. It can be food allergens, things like gluten sensitivity, dairy sensitivity, not enough enzymes or stomach acid. It could be just stress, poor sleep. These go into our inflammation bucket, and these make it harder for our immune system to adapt and work appropriately. And so when we have allergy issues, most of the time we're having an imbalance in an immune response. Usually we're having either an increase in histamine or our body's responding to histamine in a way. It's overreacting, creating these different symptoms. Now, taking stressors out of that stress bucket helps. That helps kind of calm down the immune system. We can also look at pulling out histamine stimulating foods, whether it's releasing foods that are high in histamine, foods that block the breakdown of histamine. So our higher histamine foods, of course, are going to be things like aged meats, higher citrus foods, avocados, tomatoes. You can see things like cheeses, wine, coffee, things like teas, break down block the ability to break down histamine, and nuts and seeds obviously as well too. And so kind of going on a general lower histamine paleo template can be very helpful. A lot of the allergy medications are usually H1, H2 histamine blockers. The problem with these medications is they can make you drowsy, cause some brain fog issues, and they are not fixing the underlying issue. And so, of course, we have some of our more natural antihistamines we may throw in there instead, like kidney, like stinging nettle, like quercetin, ginger, bromelain, right? These are very helpful. We may add in things like NAC to kind of decrease the mucus, help break down the biofilms in the sinuses. We may do things like sinus flushes to help break down a lot of the foreign antigen particulate from the environment. If it sits in our sinus cavity, it can just create inflammation all night long and make it harder for us to sleep. So the first thing we can do is we can change how we interact with the environment, right? Flushing our sinus with good saline, RO, or distilled water with some either xylitol can be very helpful because that can flush and break down biofilms. Adding in NAC, stinging nettle, quercetin, very helpful at modulating histamine, chilling out the immune system. Of course, changing our diet makes a big difference, right? Because we're taking stressors out of that stress bucket. If sleep's a problem, pulling that out can help with the stress bucket. If overexercise is a problem, pulling that out can also help as well. And so these are all different ways that we can get to the root cause. And again, everyone has different driving factors. Now, the adrenals play a big role because if cortisol is overly low or overly high, that can also affect our immune system. Usually people that have allergy issues tend to have lower cortisol, but you can see it with high because imbalances in cortisol, high or low, can affect the immune system, and it can also affect the gut barrier, right? Too high on the cortisol side can decrease our gut barrier integrity. Too low makes it harder for us to build back our gut barrier. And then, of course, we need healthy cortisol so we can have good IGA levels as well. And so IGA makes a big difference because IGA helps with our immune system. So IGA is kind of our immune mucosal barrier, and that helps with any foreign bacteria, parasites, viruses that come in. That's our first line of defense for the immune system. So we have the foods under control. We have digestion under control. We working on sleep. You can do natural antihistamines. You can get more specific by cutting histamines out of your diet. Of course, gut bugs could be a problem. Things like H. pylori, SIBO, SIFO, all of those things can play a major role in driving these issues. So you got to get to the root cause of what's happening here. So again, hope you enjoyed today's video. If you have chronic allergy issues and you want to dive in deeper and get to the root cause on that, feel free, let me know. We can try to, work together and figure out what's happening with the gut, what's happening with the hormones. When you look at cortisol, too high, too low, that can create issues. Typically, when you have chronically low cortisol, you're going to see a flat cortisol rhythm. Flat cortisol rhythm means HPA axis issues, brain communication, hypothalamic, pituitary, adrenal communication feedback loops, and that can be throwing off the adrenals. And so you got to get to the root cause on why that is the case, okay? Very, very important. So we can work on using adaptogens. We can support cortisol if it's too high with things to bring the cortisol down. We can bring the cortisol up with different compounds depending if it's low. So we have a lot of different things that we can look at and try to connect the dots in regards to what's going on. But in regards to adrenals, too high, too low, we kind of want the Goldilocks effect, kind of right in the middle. And in regards to the environment, we talked about flushing out the sinuses. We can also even add in high-quality air filtration. Again, I like the Austin Air Health Mate Plus. We'll put links down below for the air filter as well, and some of the sinus. I'll put a link down below to my sinus flush video, which is very helpful as well. That can change the amount of antigens and particulate in your sinuses and in your house. That can clean it up. And then we can use different supplements to help with the histamine regulation. In my line, we use Allerclear. And even things like, you would be so surprised, but I see patients with allergies all the time. Even just getting enzymes and HCl regulated make a huge difference with histamine. It really, really does. So it can really help. But if you guys want to reach out, feel free. Put the links down below to reach out to myself and colleagues. I'm available worldwide to help you all out and get to the root cause of why you have these adrenal allergy issues going on. Let me dive in for some questions and see how I can help. Dr. J, how do I stop my histamine intolerance attacks? So you got to figure out what the triggers are. So the first thing is work on interaction with the outer environment, sinus flush, air filtration. Make sure you get the diet 100% under control. And then you got to look at the hormones. You got to look at the gut. Though you got to go from hormones, you got to look at gut. In the end, try to look at all the diet and lifestyle things. Cut out the histamine. Maybe an autoimmune paleo out of the gate will be a good first start. What's causing your heartburn? So, again, it depends. So go watch a heartburn video that I've done on that topic. But in general, cut out all the foods. Work on better digestion. Start there. Add in my ginger tea with the Manuka honey. That's a good starting point. Pull out any acids out of the gate until you get your enzymes and digestive support kind of dialed in. Hope that helps, Mike. If you want to reach out, put the link down below. If you want to dial in for more support, feel free, okay? Hope that helps, y'all. All right, guys, have a phenomenal day. We'll be in touch. Take care. Bye.